Today's video, I have 8 topics for you, 8 things that you have within your control to make more money as a Poshmark seller or a reseller in general, no matter what the platform. So many of these things will apply to Poshmark. Some can be broadly construed. We're going to start with number 8, which I think is kind of like has the least impact. And we're going to move all the way up to number 1, which is the most impactful thing I think you can do to make more money as a Poshmark seller. Let's dive in. Download your free reseller resource guide today. I constantly update and share with you discounts, favorites, tools, and resources to help you with your reselling business. After the video, click the link in the description and get your totally free guide today. Okay, so number 8 is going to be having a no-low list. If you're not sure what a no-low list is, I do have a whole video on it. You can probably search Rebecca the Reseller no-low list and it will come up. But basically a no-low list is the idea of having a list of things that you're not on the lookout for, that you're not picking up, that are no longer or won't ever be part of your business. So as an example for me, I used to pick up Old Navy all the time when I first started reselling. Gap, Liz Claiborne, brands like that. And now those are on my no-low list. I don't pick them up anymore, and I'm able to focus on what I do pick up. Strategically targeting those brands that I know and love, that I know will sell well for me, and I'm not wasting my sourcing money, my sourcing time, my processing time, my photographing time, my listing time, my space in my inventory area on these no-low items, on these items that just either don't sell well or don't sell for enough money. There's just not enough value there. There's a high saturation of them. And so it's just not worth my time anymore. So there's lots of things on my no-low list. If you want to get into that more in detail, check out that video I mentioned. But if you don't have a no-low list, I highly encourage you to write it out, keep it in your phone until you get familiar with it, if it's a change for you. That's what I did in the beginning to kind of remind myself that my business no longer does this kind of business. My business sells these kinds of items. And then you can always create a BOLO list for yourself, which is be on the lookout. But I don't know that that's as effective as having a no-low list. So that's number 8. Number 7 is, if at all possible, do one of my favorite things to do, which is sell multiple quantity listings. So this is hard to do sometimes in the thrifted world. I do have a video about this also where I talk about selling multiple quantity listings. There's many ways that you can do it, even if you're not selling boutique. My favorite way is to sell boutique. So I order items from a vendor and they are being sold for the first time. That's what makes them boutique. And so I can order 10 scarves, list it once, photograph it once, buy it once, and I bought 10 of them, so I can sell it 10 times without doing any more work. And that's the beauty of any kind of multiple quantity listing, but my favorite is boutique because I have control over the types of fun items that I can sell. I can use it to kind of plug holes in my inventory. So like, I don't usually thrift scarves, but I can add brand new scarves, and that's an area that I focus on, or jewelry or other things. So I like boutique. I made an entire course all about how to sell boutique items and set up your Poshmark boutique, and I share my vendors list. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check out the link down below to the reseller resource guide, and that's free, and to my best value, which is all of my courses and all of my digital downloads that are in that bundle, and you get it for 20 bucks. So it's a huge, huge value. Anyway, the other way that you can sell multiple quantity listings is, let's say, retail arbitrage. You go on a website, go to their clearance section, buy 5 pair of pants, make that listing once, and sell those pair of pants 10 times or 5 times or whatever. The other thing that you can do in a thrifted environment is see if they have multiple quantity listings. I have found many times in my thrift store that they have multiples of something, and I've even negotiated deals with my Goodwill to say, hey, I'll buy all of them. Can you lower the price for me? And I'll buy them all right now. So there's many ways, and like I said, I have that video that talks about selling multiple quantity listings without being boutique, so you can see all of the ways that I have done this. But the benefit is you can make more money as a reseller without doing more work. And that is what I love about multiple quantity listings, is that I can list a sweater that I got at the thrift store and do all the things for it and sell it once, or I can buy boutique or arbitrage or multiple quantity at a thrift store or some other such way, do that listing once, but I can sell it again and again and again and again without doing any more work, and I just keep getting that revenue and I keep getting that profit. So for me, that's a great way that you can add to the money that you make as a reseller. Number 6 is to increase your sell-through rate. If you don't know what your sell-through rate, it's how many items are you selling out of how many items are you listing. Now there's many ways that you can calculate this, but for me, I try to keep the math simple because I hate math. And so if I list 10 items today and I sell 5 items today, that's a 50% sell-through rate. I sold 50% of the items that I listed. If I sell 3 out of 10, that's 30%. If I sell 1 out of 10, that's 10%. And so if you're at 10%, you might want to try to get to 30% because that means you're selling more of what you have listed. If you're at 30, you might want to get to 50 because that means that you're selling more of what you have. And so the great part about that is you've already done the work on these items. So if you can just find ways to tweak what you're doing to sell more, that's like less hard, in my opinion, than listing more brand new items because you got to buy them and photograph them and list them, or to find higher ASP items maybe because that might be more difficult for your situation. So everyone can increase their sell-through rate by starting where they are and doing different things that I teach here on the channel to increase how much you're actually selling. So for me, I think in number 6, it's increasing the sell-through rate is a great way to easily make more money as a reseller. And some of the things that you can do is relisting your items to freshen them up, or revise them to add brand new keywords, or reducing the price, or sending out different offers. And we're going to get to some other tactics in this list, but there's many things that you can do to increase that sell-through rate. You may not think of it all of the time in like a highly concentrated way or a specific way, but you could say this week, I'm going to identify 5 things that I can do to increase my sell-through rate. These things are going through all my listings and adding new keywords, then going through and relisting, then going through and after a few weeks, if that doesn't do it, I'm going to drop some prices. And you just make a strategic list for yourself to go ahead and increase that sell-through rate. I want to make you aware of the hottest, the best deal I have ever offered in my Rebecca the Reseller Academy. To find it, all you have to do is scroll all the way down to the bottom and you will find this right here. Hot deal, best value, all courses and digital downloads for life. This is it, friends. This is as good as it's going to get. I'm giving you everything I have in my academy, all the digital downloads, all the courses for just $20. The best part is if I create a new digital download going forward, you will get it absolutely free. This is the time to lock in the best deal I have ever offered. All you have to do is go to Rebecca the Reseller Academy, scroll down to Hot Deal, and purchase it for $20. If you're wondering what comes in this, it's everything. So you're going to get all of my courses, and you're also going to get all of the digital downloads that I've created, including my keywords list, my listing forms, my Poshmark closet signs, everything that I have created, and everything that I ever will create will be yours for literally $20. The next one is number 5, which is doing sales generating activities and not doing nonsense. So a few months ago, I'm not sure when the video went up, but I did a video about things that I don't do anymore. And one of the things that I talked about was I don't organize my closet, in any way anymore. I don't put all the pants together or all the purples together or all this together or all that together. I don't waste time doing that. Another thing I talked about was how I don't wash or steam anymore. That really got some comments. So there's many things in that video. You can check out that video, things I don't do anymore as a reseller. But the point is that I find in having talked to resellers on coaching calls, getting comments in my courses, getting comments on Instagram and YouTube videos, that there are a subset of resellers that have trouble with doing the right things, doing the things that are the most impactful to their business. There's a lot of ways to be busy as a reseller, but that doesn't mean that all of those things that you're doing that are keeping you very busy and you're feeling very productive, it doesn't mean that all of those are impacting your sales. It doesn't mean that any of those things are actually going to help you make more money as a Poshmark seller. So I bring this up to say you need to make sure that you are laser focused on your sales generating activities, the tasks that you do every day or once a week or once a month or whatever that make you money, that make the sales happen. Those should always be your top priority items. Organizing your Poshmark closet, organizing your death pile, redoing your inventory system, things like that. Those are not sales generating activities. Those are admin tasks, operational tasks. And while they may need to happen, you have to take inventory sometimes, and you have to upgrade things sometimes, you have to do it. Those should not be all the things that you do for your business. Those should not be the priority. And even sourcing, sometimes people need to learn to balance sourcing with listing. How many memes do we see out there on Instagram about the death pile and all of that stuff? I don't have those kinds of problems because I don't keep a death pile. I don't call it that. I call it unlisted inventory. I have a bin or 2 or 3 weeks worth, and that's it. And those always get listed. They don't stay around. They don't get resorted and repiled. It just moves through the system because I'm focused on sourcing, to process, to list, to doing my sales generating activities. I focus on those really important things. So examples of sales generating activities are sharing, sending offer to likers, dropping prices, like I said before, relisting, revising, adding keywords, reducing prices, I think I said. So all using the My Shoppers feature. Many different things that you can do, sending bundle offers, making sure you have a bundle discount on. All of those things are things that can generate sales. So think about what's an admin task, what's a sales task. You should always prioritize those sales tasks first. That's going to help you make more money. So that was number 5 on my list. Number 4 on my list is sending aggressive and progressive offers. I have talked a lot about this. I did a video a little while back about how I changed my offer to likers strategy, and I line out very specifically exactly how I do this. So I'm not going to waste your time now getting into all the nitty gritty because you may have already watched that video, but if you haven't, definitely take a look at it because it's do this, do this, do this. It's very easy and very simple. The idea behind this is, and why I think it's the 4th most impactful thing you can do, is because it gets you in front of the buyer again and again and again. So it's aggressive, a good offer, a good, decent offer, as well as progressive, which means it gets bigger and bigger and bigger over and over and over. And so that reminds the buyer, hey, remember you like this dress. Do you want to buy it? It's 30% off. And then you go back and you send another offer and it's 40% off. Hey, remember, did you want to buy this now? It's 40% off. How many emails do you get from Kohl's? They remind you all the time of all the many discounts that they have and that you can get Kohl's Cash and every cockamamie thing that they offer you. So think about it like that. I know some people are concerned that this may be too salesy, this may be too aggressive, this may be too whatever. That's fine. If you want to be less out there about it, that's your prerogative. But in my boat, I come from a sales background and you need to constantly be in front of your buyers. There's a reason why Kohl's sends you 87 emails and they're willing to risk you unsubscribing to get your sales. And so I'm willing to risk someone blocking me, sending me a nasty note or whatever by using the tools that Poshmark gives me or using the tools that Posher VA gives me. I love Posher VA. Use my code for 20% off, Rebecca the Reseller. It's amazing. I use those tools that are given to me to make the sales. And so it's my strategy, I think, that makes the difference. And so check out that video about exactly how I do it. But the 4th most impactful thing you can do is have a strategy, a very specific strategy based on your closet that works for your business of aggressive and progressive offer to likers that you can send out to make those sales happen all the time. I wouldn't do it if it didn't work. It works. That's why I do it. The third most impactful thing to help you make more money as a reseller is maxing out your sharing. Surprise, I did a video about this. But if you want to look more specifically, I think that thumbnail was like, you're doing it wrong or something like that. Sharing 3 to 5 times per day is no longer the law of the land. You need to be sharing more. You need to be maxing out your sharing opportunities. If you do not have an automation service, I highly recommend that you get an automation service. I highly recommend that you get Posher VA as your automation service. Again, 20% off with code Rebecca the Reseller. That automation service will allow you to do more productive tasks than you ever would yourself. So even if you found the time to manually share your ever-growing closet 3 to 5 times a day, that's a huge manual physical time commitment that you would need to do. Even if you did that, Posher VA or an automation service of your choice would, triple that perhaps, double or triple that perhaps, because you can share up to 9,000 times a day on Poshmark. And if you are not reaching that number per day, you are leaving money on the table. You are leaving the ability for people to see your items on the table. And so someone that goes from sharing once per day to 3 to 5 times per day, or someone that goes from sharing 3 to 5 times per day to sharing 9,000 total shares per day, just by the sheer numbers and increase, we'll see an increase in your sales because you're just putting your items out there that much more. So I just had a coaching call the other day, and this person did have Posher VA, but she was not using it to its fullest. She was only having it share 3 to 5 times a day. And so I said, let's go ahead and fix your schedule right now so it is going to max out the amount that you can share. And I bet you over the next month, she will see an increase in sales. So this is something that I truly stand behind. Increasing that sharing is important. That was number 3. Posher VA is a tax-deductible business investment that pays for itself many times over each month. It increases Poshmark sales because it shares and sends offers more than I ever could manually. It handles all my shares, automatic offer to likers, bulk offers, and it can do price drops and relists. When my coaching clients add Posher VA, it makes more sales basically immediately. The best part is that you get your time back. More time with family, thrifting, whatever. Get 20% off with code Rebecca the Reseller and the link below. Number 2 is pricing high. I don't think I have a video about this. But I do talk about it often. Pricing high is the strategy that I take. So let's say I have a Calvin Klein dress, and let's say you have a Calvin Klein dress. You might put the Calvin Klein dress up for $35. I'm going to put it up for $50. I put it up for $50 because I'm hoping that with my offer to liker strategy and given my buy cost, I am going to land at a sale in and around $25 to $35. And so now I have wiggle room to go from $50 all the way down to $25 if need be. And if I spent $5 to $10 on that dress, the minimum I'm going to make is $8 profit, and the maximum I'm going to make, I forget what it is if it sells full price, but higher than that. And so I already know going in that having a buy cost of a certain amount, a pricing strategy, an offer to liker strategy of a certain amount, and by pricing on the high side of the comps, I can make the money I want to make. I know what the minimum amount of profit is in the worst case scenario that I will make. That's the benefit of having a pricing formula, which I do have a video about. But the strategy is pricing high because you could send offers to someone on the $35 Calvin Klein dress, but it's going to get you a sale much lower than $35 because you priced it at $35. You might get a full price sale. Of course, that's always possible, but it's not likely. It doesn't always happen. I'm more likely to get the sale because I'm sending progressive and aggressive offers, which I already talked about. And because I priced high, I now have the wiggle room to continue to offer those offers to you. And then I still get to land in and around $25 to $35. And because I had a pricing formula, I still get to make the money I'm looking to make. And I know what my worst case scenario is. There's not a chance of losing money. And I can kind of predict everything. So for me, pricing high gives you so many options. You can always drop prices. You can send progressive and aggressive offers. You can utilize my shoppers. You can do so many things that give you more chances to sell that item. Whereas when you price lower, your options are limited to what you can do with that pricing model. There's less wiggle room for you. So I think that's important. The number one thing that I think that you can do to increase the money you make as a reseller and as a Poshmark seller is to only deal in items of value. Now, this may get some pushback as well. I'm kind of getting used to it at this point. I've got a thick skin. You tell me how you feel in the comments. I'm happy to hear it. But doing items of value, what do I mean? So I mean things like dresses, outerwear, cashmere, things that have a fabric of note, an item type of note, obviously a top selling, good selling brand with a good resale value. So there's lots of, criteria that can go into what makes an item of value, but it's not a tank top. It's not a pair of denim shorts from American Eagle that everybody has from 3 seasons ago. It's not a little chintzy kind of thing that, like, how much can you possibly get for this item? It's not Old Navy. Like, this kind of goes back to the no-low list. It's just items that inherently, just the item itself, has more value. Because if I only deal with those, then I'm only going to be able to sell items that have more value. If I source items that some are good and have more value and some are low, I'm doing the same amount of work for both, and now I have many chances on all those low value items on being sidetracked with them, processing them, and just getting a little bit of money for them. And then there's the chance that they might not sell at all because it's just kind of a low value item. So if you focus on high value items, you're kind of guaranteeing that you're going to get a higher price for it. Because how much could you possibly put the tank top up for? But how much could you put the dress up for? I'm still taking photos of it. I'm still storing it in my house. It still has an item number. It's still being shared. It's still getting offers sent on it. Like, it's still the same. So why wouldn't I want to make $30 on something instead of $12 on something? Now, one could argue that you get your items for $1, and so the profit margin is there. You don't mind selling a tank top because you bought it for 50 cents to $1, and even if you sell it for 12 or 15, that's still a good amount of money. And so if that works for you and if that is your model, that's fine. But please know that it's going to take more, $12 sales than it's going to take to get a $30 sale in order to make the money you want, if profit margins, are in and of the same and comparable. So you might want to go off of profit margin on that and have that determine your items of value. But I think in general, it just helps. Because let's say you are a bins shopper and you buy the dress. Well, now your profit margin is even bigger than the tank top because, again, the dress is going to sell more for the tank top. So you can look at it however you want. But I think that the bottom line of it is you can really impact how much money you make as a reseller if you're only putting items of value in your closet. If those are the only things you sell, those are the only things you're going to sell. And so you're going to make more money that way. And it also allows you to not do more work, right? Like if I'm sourcing and I pick up the $50 item or I pick up the $12 item, I'm still doing the same work. And so I'm not listing more items. I'm not needing to spend money on sourcing more items. I'm doing the same amount of work. If I put up 5 listings a day of $50 items versus 5 listings a day of $12 items, it's a big difference. But either way, I'm still only putting up 5 listings a day. So there is a video that I did about the 3 levers that you can control as a reseller. And one of them is sell-through rate, which we talked about. One of them is ASP, which we're kind of talking about now with items of value. And then the other one is listing more, which I didn't put on this list. I mean, obviously that option is there to you, but I love making more money as a reseller without doing more work. I'm always trying to find the shortcut, be efficient, find the hack. And so I didn't say on this list more items. Anybody could do that. That's not a strategic move. But doing all the things we talked about today, and I'll recap in a second, These are all things that you can do that require minimal effort, but that have maximum results. And I feel like these are the key. So at number 8, it was have a no-low list. At number 7, it was sell multiple quantity items. At number 6, it was increase your sell-through rate. Number 5 was sales generating activities. Number 4 was aggressive and progressive offers. Number 3 was max out sharing. Number 2 was price high. And number 1 was list items of value. I really hope that you make more money as a result of watching this video and you put some of these things into place. Thanks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.